Much has been postulated as to how the beginning actually happened. Many explanations have been offered. Some of these have been supported by our understanding of science. Other answers have been provided by holy writings, traditions, rites and ceremonies, and oral histories. Our understanding is constrained to the limits of our education and study of our origins. As we stare into the wonder that is the cosmos, as we look into the past of humankind and study the formation of so many societies, we discover the journey without destination and our innate desire to search out the truth. We are compelled to operate the puzzle, to provide the meaning to our existence so that we may go on. With all that humankind has discovered over the millennia, they have labored to produce evidence of their understanding. Humanity has constructed monuments to science, industry, religions, and civilizations. To that end, they left their mark in time to be discovered by those who followed them. Through the inexorable progression of time, humankind developed an understanding of what sustains us, largely from the examples of cultures and civilizations that became great and then disappeared into oblivion. It is this history that we will examine, the history of what has sustained mankind from the beginning into that which will become the future. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And all that there was to be was spoken into existence by the supreme architect of the universe. After the creation of mankind, they flourished and spread to all corners of the earth. From that beginning, man grew in his knowledge and understanding of the divine plan. Time and experience broadened that knowledge, and man began to build. The building process not only produced the monuments and great structures of antiquity, the builder's influence produced the societies and civilizations that became the basis of what our society and civilizations are today. These master craftsmen's skills and artistry were in so much demand that they traveled and became citizens of the world. So valued was their knowledge that they saw the need to band together. In the 1300s, these collectives or guilds were formed not only for commercial benefit and protection, but for the well-being of the members and to maintain the standards of the craft. As time passed, these craftsmen became known for their principles and integrity, and since the works they constructed took many years to complete, the craft were in the company of their patrons for extended periods of time. This proximity and the special status that the craft enjoyed within many societies led to a dialogue and exchange of ideas, which in time led those in power and patronage to begin to emulate the virtuous craftsmen's lifestyles. They sought the knowledge that the craft possessed, recognizing the value of education in their own lives. In time, these men of power and patronage would meet with other like-minded men and would enter into discussions about what they had learned. They developed friendships, relationships, and alliances within their class. Since they were not part of the labor class, they sought to apply these principles to their own stations. The virtuous manner of the craftsman did not go unnoticed by other members of society. The common man interacted with the craft as well, and likewise learned from them and emulated their philosophy. As before, these men borrowed what was useful and applied it in their own lives. And as some say, with the age of enlightenment, the love of knowledge spread throughout the world like a wildfire on the open range. But free thought, invention, and innovation were not looked upon favorably in many kingdoms and provinces. Again, it became necessary to band together for protection. Just as the operative stonemasons found the need to work in close association with other qualified members of the craft, so went those who became speculative masons. With a plan laid before them, speculative masons built a structure or organization to their craft. Speculative masons adopted similar methods of teaching, codes of conduct and recognition, educational requirements, and a standardized means of qualification. Highest on the list of requirements were the practice of virtuous behaviors, honor, and integrity. They took the lessons and incorporated the tools of operative masons as symbols to convey the teachings. It is unknown whether this symbolic reference was used as a method of teaching or as a means of security and secrecy. However, it is most likely for both reasons that the practice was adopted. Like the operative masons before them, speculative masons discovered that free thought, invention, and innovation were not looked upon favorably in most kingdoms and provinces. and religious leaders of the day frowned upon anything not strictly conforming to the dogma of the church. So the development of the speculative side of the craft occurred over a long period of time. It took nearly 250 years, occurring slowly at first and gaining momentum and popularity, culminating with the formation of the Grand Lodge of England in 1717. All the while, the new or speculative Masons were guided by the operative Masons of the past, placing their priority instead on the building of their personal, moral, and Masonic edifice, rather than the colossal structures of antiquity. It is this personal focus that vastly transcends the boundaries of brick and mortar. Such an undertaking provided these groups of like-minded men a means of self-improvement, a way to support and encourage each other, a method to positively impact their families, communities, and countries, ultimately benefiting the world. A man discovers his desire for knowledge and moves to fulfill his desire. He attends a school, trains as an apprentice, reads about subjects that interest him. He observes life, the world, the cosmos, and makes questions. He searches for truth. During his search, he discovers others who seem to be somewhat further along in their journey. They meet, and he feels as though the others were waiting for him to arrive. These others were waiting for him so that they could continue their journey together. They find that they share many things in common. Primarily, their values focus on a sense of kinship or brotherly love. They also share a need to provide relief to their fellow man. And they also share a desire to know truth. These values or morals exist in the heart of each and every one of them. It is as if these morals are a part of what makes them human, a part of their DNA. These philosophers or lovers of knowledge, banded together by the strands of their moral DNA, have been ascending the winding staircase of knowledge since that time. From the formation of the Grand Lodge of England in 1717, to the expansion of Freemasonry to the New World, and to the formation of the Grand Lodge of California in 1850, the Brotherhood grew steadily. The winding staircase of Masonic education fed their thirst for knowledge, and as they ascended, they studied the disciplines that led to an understanding of the art of architecture, the human senses, and the 7 liberal arts and sciences. The Brotherhood had been gathered and was growing. Each and all of them grew in their knowledge and understanding as their educations progressed. What was left was to pass on the benefits of this work to those less fortunate. It came first to the brothers and the families of those brothers in need of comfort or care, and those who were no longer able to provide for themselves. From the formation of the Grand Lodge of California, the craft became aware of the needs of some of the brethren and their families. In 1899, the Masonic home in Union City was constructed to care for the needs of the senior members of the fraternity. And as time went on, the needs of persons outside the fraternity became apparent. The Grand Lodge began its support of public schools and was instrumental in obtaining benefits for educators throughout the state. In 1916, the Masonic home in Covina began caring for children in need, and in 1990, 74 years later, became the second facility in California to care for elder Masons and their spouses. Each year, the fraternity has identified additional areas of need, affecting communities and regions all over California. Some of these needs have been met by individual lodges, some by districts and divisions, and other needs, such as Masonic outreach services, have been supported by the Grand Lodge. Currently, a review of the services provided to the residents of the Masonic homes revealed a need to provide additional programs for memory care and the various forms of dementia. Most Worshipful John Heisner is committed to provide his leadership in the development and implementation of these programs. In this way, California Masons will build upon the example and accomplishments that 300 years of Freemasonry has given us. Accomplishments attained by putting our philosophy into action, by the practice of brotherly love, relief, and truth.